Chin waggers and fat chewers. Have a hair of the dog what bit you. Set your bird alarm for worm o'clock. And don't sell the bearskin before you shot the bear.
Does a bird alarm sound like a human? Like a human alarm sounds like a man? Yes. Hey, wake up. It's time to talk Tull to me.
That's good.
Oh, where is it?
Where's my button? Hey, it's time to get out of the nest.
Is that Yogi Bear?
Yeah. Welcome back, I am Omen Sade.
And I am Nick McGill.
Together we are Feckless Momes.
And this is Talk Tull to Me.
An idiomatic journey through the brass tacks of the prog rock thesaurus, in which no spring chicken Nick and out-of-hand Omen will jump the shark over every single track that Black Sheep rock band Jethro Tull has ever let out of the bag. We will prick up our ears at the music of Martin by the Skin of His Teeth Bar. We will walk on eggshells to the chords of Does What It Says on the Tin D. Palmer, and we will jump on the John Evans bandwagon, just in time to see him fall off said wagon. All in all, we will learn that our hands are the devil's playthings, and that one Tull album in our hands is better than two in the bush. We will beat around that bush so that we can lead our horse of discourse to water, which will pass under the bridge, which we will cross when we get to it so that we can go and find plenty of fish in the sea, and ultimately end up caught between that sea and the devil, because, as you know, the devil is in the details. All while hoping that Ian Anderson doesn't send us to Coventry for taking the piss.
Wow.
I feel so sorry for people who have to learn English as a second or third language.
Yeah. Are there just no idioms in other languages, though?
No. There are tons of them.
Oh, so
French has some really weird ones. But, like, you cannot really speak English without idioms. They're almost unavoidable.
Oh, that's valid. That's one of the things that makes English so lovely at times. But also, like, yeah, it is one of the more difficult languages to learn, if what I've heard is correct.
I'll never forget the expression of despair on Kenosuke Sakawa's face when I asked him, "Are you up for doing something?" And he said, "Up for?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, it means like, are you agreeable to do it? Do you want to do it?" Then I said, you could be down for it as well. And that's the same thing. He looked at me with this just complete horror on his face and said, "Up and down? Same?"
That's interesting that an idiom doesn't have to be like a full sentence. It's up for or down for. It can be just a simple little thing. Yeah.
Right.
There it is. Welcome to English Hour with Nick and Omen.
Nick.
Omen.
Hello.
We are through the holiday season, chronologically.
Yeah,
anyway,
we are.
In terms of when we are recording this. We both survived. We are good. We survived. And we are here. We are back to start talking bonus tracks off of Stormwatch.
And speaking of bonus tracks, Nick, I believe you have an addendum for us.
I do. That indeed I do.
Addendum? Hardly know him. You brought him. You addendum.
It's been a long time since we've had an actual addendum, but this comes straight from the source. This comes from my correspondence with one James Duncan Anderson.
JDA.
JDA wrote in. This is in our correspondence going back and forth from the Ian Anderson email interview here.
Sure.
He said he had just heard our Holly Harold and God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. He had just listened to it, which was the most recent episode. And he said, "You guys mentioned that Doan did the drums there. Actually, that was me."
Oh!
We got schooled by JDA. Tail between legs, I humbly bow to you, James. The utmost apology. And just to clarify, we also covered Jack Frost and the Hooded Crow and Last Man at the Party. Doan did do the drums for Jack Frost and the Hooded Crow, and Ian did percussion on Last Man at the Party.
Wow, it's really like musical drummers here.
It is. I mean, I hope they're musical drummers.
One of the things you get when you sign up to our Patreon is your very own container of salt. that you can use to take with our podcasts.
It's just a pinch, though.
Just a grain.
Just a grain each time.
Oh, that's another idiomatic expression. What the
There
heck
it
does that
is.
mean?
Yeah.
Take it with a grain of salt. That's bizarre.
There has to be an origin
Yeah.
somewhere.
Nick, in other news, we have perhaps our first podcast memorial.
In memoriam, yeah.
In memoriam, very sadly, I must report that Tiki the cat is no longer with us on this earth. She sadly passed away a couple days ago and is greatly honored by her Egyptian ancestors at how thoroughly she was adored, feared, worshipped, and doted on by the humans around her. So I will raise my little glass full of rum to the life of the extraordinary Tiki the cat.
To Tiki.
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence, everyone.
Okay, Nick, what else have we got on the docket?
Well, since you just drank some rum, I might as well bust into mine. I picked up one of these babies.
That's right, it's time to play What Are You Drinking?
Can you see what I'm drinking, Omen? Can you read that label?
Oh my gosh, I thought that was a bottle of beer, but
Oh
it
my
is in
gosh.
fact a bottle of Talisker Storm.
I would die if this was a bottle of beer. I can't do beer anymore.
Well, you would only die if you drank that as if it was a bottle of
yeah,
beer.
right. My stepbrother got me a 12-pack of Brooklyn Brewery IPAs, and
That's for the whole year.
I couldn't finish one anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I can't do beer.
But
this
Scotch.
baby, established 1830 Talisker Storm single malt Scotch whiskey, an intense Talisker with a profoundly maritime character, like a warm welcome from a wild Hebridean sea. Hebridean? Hebridean sea?
Hebridean? I don't know.
Hebridean?
I'm also not sure that the Hebrides Sea has ever given anyone a warm welcome.
No, probably not. Listen, I haven't opened this yet.
Oh!
Ooh, that was good. Okay, how far do I fill up the cup? All the way?
It's no more than 3 fingers, end to end.
My 3 fingers are elsewhere right now. I can't
Oh my god.
I can't measure the scotch. Okay, so ooh. Oh, it's peaty.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. It's earthy. Ooh, it's hot, and it's smooth.
Okay.
That's the way I like them.
And that will be it for Nick this evening.
I'm done. I'm going to bed.
He's going to go sleep it off. If you don't mind me joining in the festivities, I'm having another one of my Athletic Brewing Company brews. This one is Free Wave, the Hazy IPA. And if I can get my fingers underneath it. Ooh. Eek! Stand by. Need to open it with something. Nothing. Oh, wait a minute. I do. Fortunately, I always keep this underneath my desk.
Sting.
Yes. Thank you, Sting. You can go back to your fields of gold now. I always keep British rocker Sting under my desk.
Under your desk, yeah.
Just such an occasion.
Just in
Okay.
case you need them.
It's a lot of faff.
Nice.
I like my beer with a heavy faff.
I used to like faff. I don't do it much anymore.
So hoppy, so delicious, so refreshing, and so devoid of alcohol.
To you, my friend.
To you. All right, Nick.
Yes, Omen.
Have we any other things to talk about, or shall we dive headfirst into this very first bonus track off of Storm Watch?
We can dive right in. We've only got a single note on it before we jump in. So from the singles off of this album that they put out off of this album, we discussed that in the U.S. they put out a Home/Warm Sporin.
Mm-hmm.
They put out, in the UK, they put out a North Sea Oil/Elegy.
Yep.
They put out an EP of Home, King Henry's Madrigal, Warm Sporin, and Ring Out Solstice Bells.
A nice little quatrain
That's a
there,
very nice
if you
one,
will.
yeah. And then finally, for the song at hand, on November 3rd of 1978, before the album was released,
Yeah, that makes sense.
A Stitch in Time was one side, and then a live version of Sweet Dream was the other.
Ooh, wow. Cool. Do you know where that was released?
That was a UK as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was kind of the teaser for the album proper.
I suppose so, yeah. We had this in the bag. We're not going to put it on the album. We might as well put it out somewhere, get excited about Tull.
Spoiler alert, the song that we're talking about is A Stitch in Time.
A Stitch in Time, a huge fan favorite of One Omen Sade.
Yes, my fans are all favorites of it.
They love it. Those fans get worked up.
And so, Nick, shall we have a listen to A Stitch in Time?
Let's give it a blow. There's a fan reference there. Didn't quite work, but
Sure. You watch where you put those fingers.
I'm so sorry. Omen.
Yeah, Nick.
Why do you love A Stitch in Time so much? Or can you not get into it? Like, is there nitty gritty that we will get into eventually? Or can you give me like an overarching, like, why are you so excited about this song?
Oh man, it tickles my fancy. There's something. Okay, let me see if I can identify the different parts of it that really jazz me up, as it were.
The thorax is pretty exciting. The abdomen is thrilling.
I love the phrase "a stitch in time saves nine." This was the first time I'd ever heard that expression.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I think growing up with a lot of little proverbs and useful idiomatic phrases coming from my dad,
Yeah.
it caught my ear as like, oh, that means something, and I don't know what it means, so I have to figure it out.
So what was this, college that you heard this?
No, I think it was high school.
Was it high school? Okay.
And then, the tune itself, there's a lot of really great stuff going on musically. I really love the bass forward approach to the song. And as you mentioned, that's Mr. Ian Anderson playing the bass rather handily, I might say.
Yeah. Probably with both hands.
Probably with both hands.
He's a talented man.
Yeah. Well, and idle hands are the devil's playthings.
That they are.
You know what they call a bassist without a girlfriend?
Oh, you've told this joke before. Homeless.
Yeah, that's it. I love that there are female voices in this song. It's so rare in the Tull discography, in the Tull songology canon.
It's definitely not Maddie Pryor.
Do we know who it is?
I don't. I can't find it. It doesn't sound like Maddie Pryor to me. If it is, I'll be very embarrassed. Did you find it?
I'm seeing on the Prog forum a lot of different ideas. One was that one of the singers was Cherry Gillespie from Pan's People.
Oh, interesting.
It also posits the idea that one of the voices was Shona Anderson. But apparently Cherry Gillespie sang backings on Maddie Pryor's Woman in the Wings, which was produced around the same time as Stitch in Time.
Gotcha. Okay. Is it more than one female voice in there?
I think it is, yeah.
Maybe it's Maddie and Cherry and Shona and who knows?
Every woman in England.
Every woman in Ian's life.
Yeah, so all three of them.
So Maddie, Shona, and Cherry.
Exactly.
Stitch in time saves nine. Sang Cock Robin from the wall.
I've spoken a little bit about, why I like this song. What are your feelings about this song? Is this a sleeper for you?
It definitely is. It's not. It is not a fond song for me. Musically, it doesn't do much for me. I don't like the. I don't know. I don't like the feel of the song. It's based on what we've been hearing for the last 3 or 4 years. The buildup of the folk and then the going down into the dark. It's a little too light. It's a little too fluffy, airy for me musically.
Sure.
And the lyrics don't do much for me either.
Right. I think all that's very valid. Follow up on that. Why are you dead inside?
Well, I would go back to...
Oh, no, wait a minute. We don't have time. I don't have space on my hard drive. Yeah, no, I mean, and this is the thing. It's like, I think this is what's so special about this music is that, I can have one reaction to it and you can have a totally different reaction to it. And both are valid.
Yeah. And it's been a while since we since we differed so drastically, this is not a song that I would put on the bottom, but I mean, maybe it is actually, now that I think about it. It's one I would skip. This is a song I would
Really?
skip. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it doesn't do it for me. But like a 50-year career of music, there are bound to be one or two that people skip, you know?
Sure. Let's break it down musically.
Sure. Yeah. Oh. Can we fix it back up though?
Oh, that was, yes.
We got some fun flute in the beginning.
And the very first sound is the bass.
The bass, Ian on the bass, yeah.
That wonderful slide down.
We got bass, we got the fun flute. It's a bit repetitive for me. I think that might be one of my issues, is it's not, the music doesn't offer much. It's not very toothsome.
Sure.
You know, it just kind of repeats the same theme over and over.
I wrote down bass, Ian. Good job.
So Ian, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, or James, if you could at least let him know, Omen thinks you did a good job on this song.
No, it is. It's great. It's so lovely to hear the bass coming forward in the song and driving the song forward.
Yeah.
It is, you know, I agree to a certain extent that it is not as delicately layered as some of the songs that we've heard in the past. But there's a wonderful distinction between the sound of the bass. You know, we have that theme. That repeats.
Yeah.
And then it changes tone. Suddenly there's like a kind of a shift and a focus and a quick zoom in with yeah.
You're out of control.
I am. And then of course we have the strings coming in.
Yes, we do have strings in this one.
D. Palmer flying right in.
Into my heart.
Indeed, making a nest there.
Yep.
Like the
cock robin.
Like the cock robin.
Faceless monsters, oh, they pay me plenty.
Like the They Might Be Giants song.
Oh, build a little birdhouse in your soul? No.
Yeah.
Lighthouse. It's a lighthouse, isn't it?
I think it's a birdhouse.
Oh.
This is basically the same thing.
Yeah. No, they're not. Very, very.
Birdhouses warn sailors not to crash on the rocks. Okay.
Yeah.
You can hurry me on the bugger light switch. Who watches over you? Make a little birdhouse in your soul, not to put too fine a point on it. Say I'm the only bee in your bonnet. Make a little birdhouse in your soul.
We have the amazing female voices.
Fiction time, saves nine. Sandcock Robin from the wall.
I do think that's a major part of the reason that I love this song so much is because it changes the tone so much as soon as you have that, because we're so used to Ian's voice.
Yeah. And he does a little, before the women come in, he does a little bit of harmony. He's got a little high pitch and he's got a little low gravelly, almost that Jack in the Green voice almost. And I think there's a bit of a filter in there too on some of it.
Yeah, it could be
as well. It sounds like it's coming through a little something electronic process.
Yeah. But then when the female voices hit, it really opens up with this brightness.
Yeah.
Because, you know, Ian's voice, there's a lot of discussion to be had about it, but, you know, it has a sound that you can, it's not like, what am I trying to say? It's not like listening to Freddie Mercury. It is moving for other reasons other than its melodious beauty.
Yeah, we've had this discussion before. I think it ties into why does it seem like men are more drawn to Tull than women? And one of our theories was the voice, because Ray does not like Ian Anderson's voice.
And I do think that, you know, I feel weird even using this kind of terminology, but it's a very masculine voice. His voice has a very masculine energy about it.
Yeah.
He's a man. He's got a man's voice.
Yeah, very gruff.
The man's voice of a voiced man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's a man's man. He's a Sandman.
He is.
He's the landsman.
He's the Botanic man.
He's the Botanic man.
Botanic man.
And the female voice really softens that and brings this beautiful lightness to it, and I just adore. Then, of course, we have the big Martin and Ian breakdown with the guitar and the flute, which is spectacular, and a nice example of that kind of trading back and forth between the two instruments, which we love.
Which is not uncommon at this era. They do bounce back and forth. They do share that responsibility, and it's nice. It does break things up.
Yeah, great call and response.
Yeah.
Funny, interesting little tidbit. Some of the song is in 4/4, and some of it is in a compound 4/4-3/4.
That's not real. You're just making things up.
It could be 7/4. You could count it that way. I think the chorus is 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the verses are 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Baffling.
4, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Boy, that rum really loosened those dad jeans on you.
Nick, anything else to say musically?
No, I'm nonplussed by the music. So yeah.
Well, I will perform some addition.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I will perform some additional music and then just start singing again.
Oh, we're going to play this song till you like it.
Ugh.
What about the lyrics, Nick? Should we jump into thems?
Let us jump into them.
So, Nick, let's talk a little bit about the title of the song, which also forms the main part of its chorus. A stitch in time saves 9.
Yes. You said when you first heard it that you cottoned onto it. You felt there was meaning behind that. It was clearly idiomatic in some way.
Yes. Idiomatic or matic for idiots.
That too. That's what we do. Yeah.
I did. And part of it is because it's a phrase that has a rhyming structure to it.
Sure. Right.
And it's a very this compared to this.
Sure.
What's that called in Shakespeare?
An analogy.
Yeah, but no, it's...
yeah, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. My teachers would kill me. Darling, what's the thing in Shakespeare called? Where you compare something to something else. No, but there's a Shakespeare word for it. Okay. Bye. Big fail over here, Nick.
It's not simile, it's not metaphor, it's not...
Oh, it was on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it's a phrase which has structure, and I kind of had to, this was before the days of Google being really prominent, and so I kind of had to figure it out for myself. And of course, the meaning of it is fairly clear, which is...
If you take the time to fix something now, you save time by not having to fix a bigger problem.
At a ratio of 1 to 9.
Oh, yeah.
Which is massive.
Yeah, so if you stitch a hole in your pants now, you catch it before it rips even more, and then you have to stitch, you need 9 stitches.
Yeah, absolutely. Or, to kind of extrapolate, if you fire your problem employee and replace them with somebody who's competent, now you will save yourself the hundreds of thousands of dollars that incompetent person will cost you in the next 6 months.
Right. The troubleshooting and the damage control, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Omen.
Oh, God. Not like this.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
Do you have some other phrases that you enjoy of the same nature?
If I had known ahead of time, I probably would have come up with some, but there's nothing that pops into my head immediately. I hate the English language, and...
Sure, yeah. And everyone who speaks it.
Yeah, right. I'm just dry toast. That's all I like.
I'm a fan of the phrase, firewood warms you twice, once when you cut it and once when you burn it.
I would like that without that second part. Just firewood warms you twice. Yeah. That illusion.
It's a bit of a threat, actually.
Oh, I'm so sorry. But that illusion and having to interpret it yourself, I like that aspect of these things.
Well, and I think that a lot of these phrases, They start as a full phrase and then they get chopped in half. Like, you know what people always say, the customer is always right. That's only half the expression. The phrase is, the customer is always right in matters of taste.
Is that really?
Yeah, which makes a lot more sense if you think about it.
Yeah, because F the customer.
Exactly. But if they want to buy, something that looks horrible on them, well, that's a matter of taste.
Yeah. You spend your money however you want.
Right.
Yeah.
But the customer isn't always right. They're
No.
only right in matters of taste.
That's wonderful.
'Tis a lazy man who tries to carry everything in one load of the wheelbarrow.
That does not have a ring to it, but
It doesn't, but it's true.
yeah, because you're just going to make more work for yourself when it all falls apart.
Right. Fast is slow and slow is fast. Haste makes waste.
Yeah, there you go. I like that one. Yeah. We could find a literal encyclopedia of them, I'm sure.
Oh, I looked at it.
Oh, okay. And you're just trying to remember what you just looked at?
I'm trying to remember if there are ones from my childhood.
Oh, a super common one, kill two birds with one stone.
Sure. Or as somebody I recently talked to said, get two birds stoned.
Not quite the same thing.
Same sentiment.
Is it?
My dad always says if he distrusts someone upon meeting them, he'll say, I didn't like the cut of his jib.
Oh, yeah. What is that? That's a sailing reference, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, bird in the hand is worth two in the bush.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're kind of in this, we're kind of in the world of idiomatic phrases and almost like mini parables or mini aphorisms.
Yeah, there you go. That was good. Aphorism is actually a really good way to put it. A pithy observation that contains a general truth.
Right.
Such as, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of where the song starts from. But then immediately with the first verse, we have kind of this interesting scene in which you could imagine that phrase being deployed for evil capitalist purposes.
Yes. Yeah.
I work in dark factories, a cog in the big wheel, driving gray satanic mills and weaving sad stories.
I work in dark factories, a cog in the big wheel, driving gray satanic mills and weaving sad stories.
You know what it reminds me of? Is the classic Charlie Chaplin film Modern Times.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's that famous scene of him literally going into the machine and riding the wheels around and becoming literally a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's got a bit of a dystopian feel to it.
Oh, super disto.
Yeah, just marching in and getting crumbs, and it's a bit 1984. It's a bit
Metropolis.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what was the Upton Sinclair? Oh, Jungle. The Jungle. That's not dystopian, but it's still like a reality, a harsh reality of society and capitalism and
Right.
manufacture.
So then we have, in contrast to this, a stitch in time saves nine, said Cock Robin from the wall. It's an early bird catches the worm, show a little pride before you fall.
A stitch in time saves nine, sang Cock Robin from the wall. It's an early bird catches the worm, show a little pride before you fall.
Two more aphorisms or idioms there as well.
Yes, or references to them at least.
Yeah,
Well, and even the reference to Cock Robin, which we'll get into in a second.
sure.
So is that, I mean, this is what is so kind of fascinating about the writing, the poetry of Ian Anderson, is that you could really interpret this two ways. One is that, in this harsh factory setting, you have the foreman saying, a stitch in time saves nine. Do good work, you little puny widgets.
Okay.
An early bird catches the worm, don't be late to your shift.
Yeah, it's threat and danger couched in like, I'm just making you an upstanding citizen and teaching you how to work.
Well, and speaking of dystopia, it's like, is it in 1984 or is it in Fahrenheit 451 where you have the big signs everywhere that says truth is lies and war is peace and all this?
I think that's 84.
Okay.
I forgot about Fahrenheit 451. That was one of my favorite books in high school. That's a really good book.
I burned that book to keep warm, so I never got to read it. So I'll never know what it's about.
Well, I mean, it's fitting. It's okay.
They should have printed it on asbestos.
This book smells great.
It's a little scratchy, but I just love sleeping with it. But at the same time, you could interpret this that Cock Robin on the wall is some kind of consciousness or conscience of the worker saying, hey, you know what? If you don't take action now, you'll be screwed down the line.
That's how I interpreted it, particularly when we go later on in the song. It seems the progression of the song, it makes more sense to me that that's the case.
Well, and the phrase that kind of brings it to me away from the evil foreman scenario is show a little pride before you fall. So, of course, the phrase that is being referenced is pride cometh before the fall, which I think is from El Biblio.
The Holy Bibli.
The Holy Book.
Eddie Izzard says the Holy Bibli. And
I love me some Eddie Izzard.
He's so good, so good. So, yeah, I mean, is it like a subconscious thing? Is it like the work is so repetitive that he's kind of, his imagination is traveling? Is he hallucinating from the fumes of the dangerous work environment that he's in? And
could well be the case.
A bluebird up in the corner telling him what to do, you know?
Right.
Regardless of what it is, it seems to be giving him the right idea, the right path to take for a happier life.
Well, and, so again, going back to show a little pride before you fall, the phrase is pride cometh before the fall, but he's flipped it here.
Yeah.
As if to say the fall is inevitable.
That's it, yeah.
So you may as well stand up on your own feet like a human being.
That's exactly what I have. The fall is going to happen. So you might as well do something that maybe leads to the fall, you know? It's just like, I'm going to get in trouble anyway, so I might as well do what I'm getting in trouble for.
Right, exactly. Yeah. They're going to fire you anyway. So what are they going to do? Fire you?
Yeah, exactly. You'll be happier in the long run by doing this and by being fired.
They can't fire you twice.
That's true. Well, once from the job and once out of a cannon.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
And once as a clay pot in a kiln.
They can do that to you. They have the technology.
It's in your contract. It's on you if you didn't read it. You know what this song reminds me of, and particularly that chorus?
What's that?
Sparrow and a Schoolyard. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Hold on. It's little sparrow on the schoolyard wall.
Oh, okay. Little sparrow on a schoolyard wall.
That's exactly what I was singing.
Yeah. No, I mean you were Bob Dylan mumbling.
Okay, and the reason it reminds me of it is the phrase, don't stay forever in your limbo, fly. Before you fall, little sparrow on the schoolyard wall.
Little sparrow on a wall. I really like that album.
Don't stay forever in your limbo, fly before you fall. Little sparrow on the schoolyard wall. Little sparrow on the wall.
Yeah, we'll get to it, Nick. You just gotta be patient.
Forever. Let's see. You want to know when Little Sparrow is going to come up?
Is it gonna make me sad?
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Antitheses.
Thank Christ. Little Sparrow. Sparrow on a schoolyard wall. 6/20/2023.
Gee whiz.
Gee whiz.
Yeah, the word I was looking for was antitheses.
Yes, that sounds right.
So, Nick.
Yeah, do we want to talk Cock Robin before we get any further?
I think we should talk Robin.
Yes. Talk Robin to me.
So I just thought, oh, well, I'm sure it's just one of those, silly English expressions like, oh, yes, Cock Robin, that it's just a bird, some random bird. But apparently it refers to a very old folk song, a murder archetype song, and also English nursery rhyme, which dates back to the mid 1700s when it was published, but it likely was, around a lot before that.
Sure, right.
And it's one of those songs like Froggy Went a Courtin'.
Yeah.
Or The Little Leatherwing Bat.
I've never heard that one. That one's not real.
Hi, said the little leatherwing bat. I'll tell you the reason that I fly by night is because I lost my heart's delight.
Hi, said the little leatherwing bat. I'll tell to you the reason that I fly by night is because I've lost my heart's delight. Howdy dowdy diddle day, howdy dowdy diddle day, howdy dowdy diddle day, lay low.
And then he asks all these animals if they've seen his love. Or no, all the animals give him advice.
That tune sounds delightful.
Hoot, said the owl with his eyes so wide. A lonesome day and a lonesome night. Thought I heard a young girl say, court all night and I sleep all day. Anyway.
Yeah. So a cock robin is not an actual bird.
The story of the cock robin, which as you say is not an actual bird, is one of the cock robin being killed with a bow and arrow. And just even that image goes back several centuries before the song was recorded. And it basically the singer asks who killed the cock robin, and the sparrow says 'twas I. And then the singer asks who saw him die, who caught his blood, who's going to do this, who's going to do that, who's going to bury him, who's going to make the coffin, etc. And all these different animals answer. Some of the propositions for the origins of this song was that it could refer to the death of the ancient Norse god Balder, who was, of course, killed with a mistletoe arrow.
Okay.
Or possibly the death of King William II, who was killed with an arrow. Or, sort of interestingly, it could refer to the sun god known in Welsh as Coch Riben. Coch Riben.
Which has been anglicized to cock robin.
Cock robin, right. Coch meaning red and ben meaning leader. So the red leader, the red sun.
Very interesting.
How does that relate to the song, Nick?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's not even an active character in these nursery rhymes. It is who killed Cock Robin. Cock Robin is dead and gone at this point. So why has he chosen the embodiment of this, not mythological character, but this nursery rhyme, this child's nursery rhyme character that is passive?
The other theory that I think is less likely is that it could refer to the band Cock Robin, the punk rock band that was very popular in the 80s, but they didn't really form until a couple of years after this album was released.
Could be premonitory. I would not be surprised if Ian knew.
He saw an early gig of Cock Robin. It's like, Cock Robin, yes.
It's curious. I don't know. They were named after... The band, Cock Robin, was named after the marriage of Cock Robin and Jenny Wren, which is a 17th century story.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's the name has been around, I don't know. I can't quite figure that out.
I think at best, we can say that Cock Robin represents some kind of ancient parable or ancient aphorism of wisdom.
But it's not like in the Cock Robin song, the Who Killed Cock Robin, the death and burial of poor Cock Robin. It's not like the moral of the story is go out and live your life.
No, but I think that they're related in that children learning rhymes will learn A Stitch in Time Saves Nine and will learn the Cock Robin song because they're both rhymes. They're both children,
okay.
Things that rhyme.
Okay.
When you have kids, you say, oh, the early bird catches the worm, and they say the early bird catches the worm. Who killed Cock Robin?
He chose that character for the children's nursery rhyme fairy tale reason. Could have been any number of other characters, but...
It could be Humpty Dumpty.
Could be, yeah, exactly.
But it doesn't scan as well. Said Humpty Dumpty on the wall.
Yeah, he's also on the wall, though, so, I mean, that works. He was on the wall. Past tense, I suppose. So we go
Yes.
we go later on.
Finally.
And Ian took the advice. He flew to the South Sun with birds of a feather. Another one, birds of a feather flock together.
Oh, yes.
To drink in the warm nights and tell of fine weather, stitch in time, etc., etc.
So I flew to the South Sun with birds of a feather to drink in the warm nights and tell of fine weather.
And then we get to the moral of the story.
Indeed.
Listen, all you young folk, your lives on a timetable. Clocking on 21, fly while you're able.
Listen, all you young folk, your lives on the timetable. Clocking on 21, fly while you're able.
What's clocking on 21? Is that like clocking out at 2100 hours at 9 p.m. because you're just working your life away?
Or is it, you're 21 years old and you're clocking in for the rest of your life?
Oh, okay. At this point, this is what you're doing. You're setting yourself up for the rest of your life. Yeah, okay.
You finish your education, you get sent off to the mills, and then you don't see the light of day until you're 70.
Yeah. But you should fly to the south with birds of a feather and enjoy yourself.
Right. And so then what does, fly to the south? I mean, that could mean, and I feel like in northern climes, we typically vacation in the south, or people retire to the south.
Yeah.
I've retired to the south already,
Yep.
getting ahead of the curve.
It's warmer. Generally, it's warmer,
Yeah, and for the English, that could be, the seaside at Brighton, or it could mean the coast of Spain, depending on how much money you have.
Right. But regardless, it's a getting away of where you are, of where you're embedded in this current life.
Right, exactly. And I think it's maybe even more metaphorical in that he's stepped away from the wage slave life, as it were.
Sure. Yeah. Make barely enough just to survive so that you can't do anything else.
He's no longer got his nose to the grindstone. He's decided to stop and smell the roses.
There you go. Even though his nose has been ground off.
That's not a rose, sir.
There was a song, I think in Heavy Horses, where Ian mentions a robin. Do you remember that?
And Robin needs the summer to hide his something red. Rover.
Rover, yes.
And I need your pillow. I need the pillow of your hair in which to hide my head.
As the robin craves the summer to hide a smoke of red. I need the pillow of your hair in which to hide my head.
Yeah, we talked about how that lyric did not jive for me, but good call remembering that. So I heard on one of my favorite podcasts the other day, there's no such thing as a fish.
Oh.
It's all about like wacky trivia. So when we put out Rover, I believe in the Discord there was a discussion about that lyric, about the American robin versus the...
Oh, right, because I think I said...
The English robin.
I said, oh, yes, well, the robin is migratory, and it's a sign of spring, and all the English people were like, it's not.
But I heard that the American robin was named, and I think we surmised this as well, so the American robin was named after the European robin because the American robin also has a red breast. The European one is a tiny little guy with a red breast. But, that being said, the American robin is not a robin. It's a thrush.
Oh, my gee.
And they do migrate because their Latin name is turdus, which is silly, but it's
Turds.
Thrush.
Oh.
Turdus migratorius. So the migrating thrush.
Wow.
Knowledge.
Nick, anything else to say about A Stitch in Time?
I don't think so. It's a nice, like, go live your life story, but musically it doesn't do it for me. I appreciate that you like it.
Thank you. I appreciate that you appreciate that for me. I feel supported. Let me ask you this, Nick. Are there any phrases or aphorisms that have helped you in your life?
Don't forget to change your underwear.
That's Okay. That's not really idiomatic. That's just good advice.
Just good advice. Okay. No, I mean, an aphorism has never really rung with me. You know, I think they're cute and they're nice and they're good advice, you know, they're good things to follow. But there's never been one that is like struck me at a time in my life where I'm like, oh, I have to change what I'm doing. I have to change my way of thinking.
Right.
Because I've clearly been doing it wrong.
What about don't shit where you eat?
Oh, okay. Yep, that works. I'll take that one. I'll use that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned a lesson or two about that.
I've always enjoyed the nautical ones. I've always enjoyed calm seas never made a skilled sailor.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you like the sound of it, but did it like really affect you, you know?
Yeah, sometimes when it's like, you know, when I've been going through hard times.
Oh, okay, sure.
Instead of being like, oh no, the seas are so stormy.
Why can't it be easy?
I think to myself, I am learning very well how to sail my ship.
Okay, I like that.
The ship of my soul.
Yeah.
It's more like a dinghy.
It still floats, Omen. It'll get you from point A to point B.
It's an inflatable tube.
It is drenched in shark bait.
It's a couple of pool noodles. Got left out during the winter.
A stitch in time saves nine. The sandcock robin from the wall. It's an early bird, caught the worm. The short and the bright before you
Do you know what we are covering next week? Life is a clue.
In the crossword. Oh, it's crossword.
Yeah, it's crossword. You also really like crossword, too, or am I making that up?
Life is a clue in the crossfire.
Nope.
Okay. We will find out if I like that song or not next week.
Tune in. That's a draw if ever I've heard one.
Until then, you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone by giving us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and giving us a positive rating. That will actually kill an infinite number of birds with only 2 stones. You will be responsible for the extinction of an entire species of birds. The birds of our anonymity.
You done?
Fucking hate birds.
So I have a better 2 birds with 1 stone.
Oh, thank God.
2 birds with 5 stones. $5 a month
okay.
gets you access to our Patreon, gets you access to our Discord, gets you bonus episodes. We have Outtake Told Me as an episode. Every month you get Omen and I being absolute idiots and buffoons as cutting room floor material once a month. And we stopped Talk Tull with Me, which you have access to the back catalog, but we're going to start something else very soon, which involves listener input. So if you want to get in on that, join us on the Patreon, $5 a month. And, you know, if you're looking for, now that the Black Friday is done and Christmas sales are done, we didn't do any sales on our merch, so go pick up our merch now that all the sales are done.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, and if you treasure this trash, share it with a friend.
I'll take it. I like it. Oh, and also Spotify does 5 stars now, so get in on that.
They also do 4 stars and 3 stars and 2 stars. And, only
5 stars.
One option.
Yep,
okay,
just for us. Yeah.
Until next time, I am the harsh wine that is Omen Sade.
I am the faceless master, Nick McGill.
We are the cogs in the big wheel, feckless momes.
And this is, altogether, Birds of a Feather, Talk Tull to Me.
Cock Robin.
Who killed Cock Robin?
I, said the sparrow, with my bow and arrow, I killed Cock Robin. Who saw him die?
I, said the fly, with my little teeny eye. I saw him die.
Who caught his blood?
I, said the duck. It was just my luck. I caught his blood. Who'll make the shroud?
I, said the beetle. With my thread and needle, I'll make the shroud.
Who'll dig his grave?
I, said the owl. With my pick and trowel, I'll dig his grave. Who'll be the parson?
I, said the rook. With my little book, I'll be the parson. Who'll be the clerk?
I, said the lark. It's not in the dark. I'll be the clerk. Who's a proud member of the Feckless Momes audio network?
We are, said Talk Tull to me.
We're proud members of the Feckless Momes audio network.
Network.
Yay!